means business. I'm Andrew Bariji, and of course, this particular segment where we take you through the day's previous news stories that are making headlines into the world of business. I hope you're having a great morning. I personally am having a great morning. And don't forget, of course, to catch us on Go TV. That's channel 394 on DSTV channel. That's 372. Accompanied with our social media platforms. That's at SMART24 TV Twitter, SMART24 TV Facebook, SMART24 TV Live YouTube. As you will be in position to catch us at whatever part of the country or the globe you will be at, as we give you the latest local and international updates to enable you as an entrepreneur to make the appropriate decisions. And Zabu has made your trading experience much more easier and friendly as you just dial *292#. And of course, you will be availed with a variety of options. You could buy 1 year bond, 5 year bonds, and of course, that will be made possible at whatever part of the country you will be at. Do something new. The markets open at exactly 8:15. That's a.m. East African time, and they close at exactly at 3:15 p.m. still East African time. So remember, that is very possible for you as a trader, as you will be in position to add a side income. Of course, yes, don't be left behind. Do something new. It's the revolution. You will be in position to buy stocks on Altex. Yes, Altex Securities, and you will be a part of the company shareholders right there. That is Zabu for you. Do something new. All right, and now heading straight to the news recap. We'll start with livestock management, and this time around we look at the effects of climate change to the livestock industry. Let's have the details.
Produced by ruminantic enteric fermentation, a normal component of ruminant digestion, makes up the second greatest share of animal greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are the main greenhouse gases associated with agriculture. The biggest emissions from animal agriculture come from beef, followed by dairy, and are primarily methane produced during cattle digestion. According to Luis Lechiguero, the European representative in Uganda, they are assisting the country in creating a database for management of live cattle. Additionally, he reveals that Uganda's situation is different compared to European countries like Spain, USA, among others.
Also including how many livestock there is in the country. I mean, what is the impact of the diet? They look at different type of fodder, how it is being managed, the livestock in feedlots, just on the open, or different types of feeding the cows. So this will improve, and then this knowledge will be shared later on with the farmers nationwide, and then it will be a good improvement if really they come with a sound methodology that pass the peer review and the international standards. Objectives of this program is to measure the methane contribution, as well as to develop a database and a sound system to measure its contribution to climate change. And they are doing it now with partners that use drones and satellite imagery, very sophisticated.
Lewis applauded Uganda to adapt new technology and improve in managing livestock.
I mean, of course, it needs improvement, especially in terms of transportation, the abattoirs, in case of livestock that is for meat, for the milk producing sector also. I mean, there is space for improvement, but Uganda it can be on the top of management of the livestock. Not only for its economic value, but we know that cows are very cherished in Uganda in the culture. You have even the Ankole cows, which are like a reputational standard. I mean, to have cows.
Alex Otenya, a lawyer, consortium manager for Ministry of Water and Environment in the Department of Climate Change, committed to support Uganda in providing production through livestock and reduce emission of greenhouse gases.
Uganda, especially the cattle corridor, the major economic activity is animal rearing, and especially large ruminants like cattle do emit a lot of methane, and majorly it is cattle that the major emitter of methane. So much as all the sectors are doing something to reduce emission of greenhouse gases, for us we chose livestock sector so that also we contribute to reduction of greenhouse gas emission in the atmosphere and consequently the effect of climate change.
Andrew Barije, Samuel Chirimunda, SMART24, Business Today.
Yeah, that's regarding a report to do with the livestock management. And this time around, we're talking about having a database to ensure that the livestock is managed efficiently. And of course, we see that in order to create that's a database system to manage livestock, the government of Uganda began working in conjunction with the European delegation that's in Uganda to mitigate the consequences of climate change in the livestock sector. When we talk about these consequences, it's quite very wide because all sectors are being affected into the agriculture sector as wide as it is. So it being a global cause, different sectors, in the agriculture being affected in regard to that. So that regarding that, the discussion took place with the European delegation to ensure that such circumstances are handled efficiently. All right. Now, away from that, let's head to the Ugandans battling with high food costs. And of course, as we know that many traders and those working in the transportation industry are very angry that their demands have not been met. That's in the wake of Ebola outbreak. That's in Mubende, as the nation struggles, which has led to high costs of basic items. Yes, traders and taxi drivers say this has had a negative impact on their operations. Let's have the details.
Due to the Ebola outbreak, the president announced a 21-day lockdown on the Mubende and Kasanda areas earlier this month. This has caused businesses, particularly in Kampala, to drastically fall. Speaking with traders and cab drivers, reveal that this has had a severe influence on their operations, increasing food costs as a result. The majority of traders in agricultural produces depend on Mubende for items like maize, tomatoes, and Irish potatoes, among others.
The lockdown that is in Mubende has negatively impacted on our business. First of all, we supply our products to Mubende, the finished products. Like we already supply rice to Mubende, municipality, Mityana, Kasanda, and Bukuya. But the fact that there is a lockdown there, the rate at which they have been buying our products has reduced. First of all, the motorcycles were blocked at first. And there is no way how a villager, the final consumer of our product, could leave the village. Like, there is no how you could leave Kasambia to come to Mubende municipality to buy our rice. And that one negatively impacted our sales.
We've been affected too much. The problem, we have no passengers. At first we were loading like 75 vehicles, but now we only load 2 or 3. So that means we can't get something to eat. If we load 2 vehicles today, then tomorrow we load another ones. It may take a week, someone to go to Chegegwa or to Mityana. So we are all stranded. Not only us, you can see all stages are stranded. Because if we bring passengers, they take. If they bring, we also take. So it has affected us so much.
Uganda still battles with unprecedented hikes in food prices, which are due to climate change as well as the Ebola outbreak. The monthly inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index for August indicates an increase of 9% from 7.9% registered in July. Other increases in the prices of food commodities include fish, which was at 11,600, and currently it is at 13,339 per kilogram. Dry beans were at 3,600 and currently they are at 3,805. Maize flour, a kilo which was at 3,300 is currently at 3,421 shillings. Fresh cassava was at 827 and currently it is at 914. And green cabbages, which were at 810, they are currently costing 1,000 Ugandan shillings.
Mubende, I think, is a food basket of Uganda because they grow rice in large quantities. So the fact is that they have blocked it. The prices of our finished products like maize flour has a little bit increased just because we are no longer getting the supplies. The supply of what? Of maize, the maize grains, as we used to get it before the lockdown.
Is effective of fuel price, one. Secondly, which is very important, it is long drought. It has even affected all East African countries. Even in Kenya, it is worse than here. However, some parts they have rain, some parts there is no rain. Even here in Uganda, there is some parts where there is not enough rain. So that has affected the price, the drought and the fuel. That is the effect of the price in the food.
Ever since the president imposed the lockdown on Mubende, there has been a decline in businesses, especially within the transport sector. Taxi drivers to Mubende currently load only 2 vehicles compared to 75 vehicles they used to load before the lockdown. But what is the fate of the transport sector? Naomi Mutumba.
That's Naomi Mutumba with the report regarding how Ugandans are battling with high food costs, and of course also accompanied with the transportation costs. We know that the transportation industry is one of the industries that have been largely affected, that are always affected when pandemics or epidemics occur. That's at whatever part of the globe it is. So that in that incidence, of course, the transport costs go high simply because there is limited movement. Like we know our brothers in Mubende that are into a lockdown as of late. So it's really known something that they really take fun in. It's something that is so very terrible. The limited movement, of course, limits the economic activities, which limits the velocity at which the money moves from one hand to another. And at the end of the day, definitely it comes back to the economy with the slowness, depending on how fast money transitions from one hand to the other will determine how good or how efficient the economic activities will be in that particular area. So it all comes back to here, all the way from Mubende, where he's back here, of course, in the central. We are being affected as well. Okay, I come to the, as I wind up this report, let's take a look at the fuel prices in the economy. As we all know that we see that there is a decline in the fuel prices, but it's not matching with the increasing prices of basic needs and the services. So the question is, why is it this way? Is it too early to jubilate? So let's get to understand an insight here regarding why is it still the way it is. I'll be returning with more highlights.
Inversely, when gas prices fall, it is easy for tank prices to be filled for businesses and household activities. It is also a damper on the economic activity for businesses that survive on oil, such as airlines, trucks, and other business activities. In general, higher fuel prices are a drag to the economy. According to an economist from Makerere University, Fred Muhumuza, there was a misconception of Uganda as they used to for the same price.
A liter, like this bike of mine, a liter goes for about 30 kilometers. But now, in 30 kilometers, I would get some money. That's when fuel was at 3,000. I would make sure that at least in that, I would get maybe 5,000 as the profit, minus the fuel. But now when I put a liter and I ride customers, at the end of it, I'll find that I've only got 1,000 or 2,000 shillings. Again, I have to put fuel to continue. Fuel is a problem.
Another source also revealed that fuel prices are determined by global consumption.
Sometimes global consumption will determine the price. We know that China, for example, uses a lot of oil. Okay? If there are supply disruptions in China, or if a large city in China goes into a lockdown, then the prediction is that consumption will fall and will bring down the price as well. So there's always those fluctuations in price. Uganda is simply a consumer, and we're a very small consumer, and we cannot determine the price of oil on the global markets.
Currently, the country consumes about 180 million liters of fuel per day. SMART24 TV also established that the easing pump prices should have started happening in the country at least 2.5 months ago. But the fuel dealers or companies could not adjust downwards because they had overstocked before the international crude prices started easing.
Evidently, fuel prices have a huge impact on the country's economic status, and of course, we've been seeing the fuel prices go down in the recent days. That is not my base system. That's to manage livestock. The government began working in conjunction with the European delegation in Uganda. That's to mitigate the consequences of climate change within the livestock sector. And away from that, we came down to how Ugandans are battling with high food costs. And definitely, as many traders and those working in the transportation industry are very angry at the demands, that their demands have not been that's taken into consideration at the wake of the Ebola outbreak. That's in Mubende, as the nation struggles, of course, which has led to high costs of basic needs, basic items. And we see traders and taxi drivers say that this has had a negative impact that's on their operations. And we came way down till discussing the fuel prices on the economy. As we see, the fuel prices are reducing, but the basic needs are still increasing. So basically, which means the cost of living is still raising up. All right, it's exactly 23 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. And of course, we are going to get into a short commercial break. We shall be returning with more. That will include the press brief. And of course, we shall have something to do with something from the international globe, what's really making headlines in the world of business right there. And we shall wind up the top of the hour, that's of 8 a.m. That's with the business tips and quotes to ensure that you're encouraged as an entrepreneur from the people that have gone ahead of you. That's in the world of business. Let's get into a commercial break. SMB returns. Good morning.
SMART24